Hey guys, and welcome to a quick look at Anno 1800. I got to play this at Gamescom. Thank you again to the team over at the Ubisoft stand for being so welcoming, but also just letting me bumble about in Anno. I am really excited for this game. I absolutely adored, I think it's Anno 1700, but also Anno 1404, which you can get still, and it should run on modern day systems. Because the franchise began in 1998. It's an old franchise. So if you haven't already checked them out and you like the look of this and you're into games like City Skylines and Civ, then this might be something for you to try out. For those of you who do know Anno and didn't really get behind the last two games because they were a bit too sci-fi, you'll be pleased to hear that this is going back to what we loved the most about Anno, that sort of older, historical discovery expeditions trading thing. So we'll come back to some of that later because there's some really cool stuff around trading and discovery that I want to show you slightly in more detail. But first, let me quickly explain how Anno works. There are different class structures and you have to fulfill different needs for each class in order to evolve them and then make your city prosperous. So for example, the first three classes in this one is farmer, who will run the basic stuff like the wheat fields or whatever they do, the potato farms, the sheep, the logging camps, all of that. You then have the workers, which deal with heavy industry, which does have its own issues. There will be pollution in this game, I have been told, which does increase your illness, so that'll be fun. We'll find out on release, guys, because I will be playing on camera, don't worry. And then the third group is artisans. So those will be like the craftsmen, the cheese makers. I think it was cheese makers in one of the older ones. Or the tailors, that kind of stuff. And somewhere in the last two, there'll be nobles or aristocracy. So as your city grows and you get more stuff and you get more people, you will have to ensure that you have a class structure that works. You have to make sure that you keep farmers, because the farmers have to provide the food. You have to make sure you keep workers because no one will run the factories otherwise. It's a bit more management based than things like SimCity, where your main goal is to just try and advance people, or there's only like two structures, aren't there? There's like low housing and high-end housing. So there is a bit more management required, especially as on top of that you also have inventory of your items. So you may have to pause a factory because you don't have enough workers. You may have to build another factory because you have a surplus of workers. It is a little bit more in-depth, perhaps, in other aspects than certain city building sims. On top of that, you also have trading with other civilizations. Now, that has been expanded on. We'll come back to that in a minute. You have discovery. You can choose to settle like little outposts on other islands to go and get some swag. Say, for example, you need more clay for bricks because your clay mines run out. You're going to have to go out and find a new clay mine. But that means you're going to have to settle on that island because you can't just send a ship and it will magically come back with clay. That's not how life works, right? You've got to take the supplies to build the warehouse and then also make the houses for the workers to live in. Sorry, the farmers. Maybe the workers. I'm not entirely sure who mines, but you've got to have somewhere for your people to live. Have something for your people to eat. Otherwise, they're not going to be there. They're not going to make your clay, which you then have to ship back. So there are more potential processes. There's a lot more focus on things like manufacturing. It's not like Cities Skylines where you can just move people in, and so long as they don't have to pay city taxes and they have a park and they have a house and they have a job, they'll be happy. No, these guys want specifics. They want a pub. They want drinks. They want, don't we all? They want food. They might want, the higher end classes will want more. For example, the artisans may want you to have a nice supply of cotton robes for them to try on so they can parade around the streets looking fancy. And that's on you to hit every single one of these requirements in order to make sure that they progress to the next class. However, on top of that, you do also need to make sure that you keep some people back. That sounds really cruel, to run the other facilities, because obviously if you lose all your farmers, then no one's eating anything. Now, they have made some tweaks to the traditional Anno formula. So, for example, citizen happiness is not essential to evolve them now to the next class system. However, later down the line, if your citizens aren't happy, there may be repercussions. So they've balanced that a little bit more. It's slightly less awkward if you've got some miserable people to pop them into the next class system. But obviously you may, I don't know, you may have a riot on your hands like 10 years down the line. Who knows? On top of that, they've added a few bits of bobs. So there are now bridges and rivers by popular demand. This setting itself was actually done due to the community wanting it. So thank you to the Anno guys for listening and putting in this hard work, because it's paying off and it looks amazing. And alongside that as well, they have put more detail into the cities themselves. There are NPCs animated in different bits. You go to the schoolyard, there's kids playing. You go to the market, there's people there. You go to the pub, there's people being drunk. And it all looks really cool. It's characterising the city, it's animating the city, and it makes it feel a lot more alive. On top of that, they have also added some new features to go with the existing ones, which are genius and make perfect sense personally. Now, the first thing is expeditions. Anyone who's played World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor kind of time, the garrisons, I'm trying to think of other games, but I'm so tired, that's all I've got. If you took that and crossed it with like Sunless Sea, so you had this almost choice-based expedition where you choose individuals with specific skills to go out and find things or bring stuff back, and there's like a success rating that's based on morale, and if you're very lucky they might bring you something back. They might bring a person back if they've met someone who wants to go with them. One of the examples that the dev gave was that they went to this island and met a tribe, and one of the sailors fell in love with a woman there, and you had an option whether you wanted to bless the union, leave him behind, or just be like, no bitch, we're leaving. And they said, well, we went for bless the union, and as a result of that, the local tribe chieftain was really happy, and I think he gave us something like a sacred artifact that we could take back to our museum. So that's a really nice bit of individuality on top of the existing Anno game. It adds a little bit of depth and individuality to your game, because obviously you can choose how to do all of that. And it also opens up one of the most amazing things ever that I am really excited for, which is modular zoos and museums. Now, for those of you who don't know what modular means, it means being able to add piece by piece in a design that you want to an existing feature. So you will have your basic museum building, and then you can choose what you want to plonk in it. The idea is that you could, if you really wanted to, and you were really into it, you could make an amazing museum that is themed how you want. So you can go out, you can meet traders, they might have a gorilla on their ship, you could buy off of them. You might find one in the wild and capture it and bring it back. I really like that concept, because it means that I could do a big cat zoo. For example, in the demo that I'm playing now, the woman that I met, I went to see her, one of her ships turned up at my port, and I was like, okay, you must be out there, so I went and had a look for her. I think I sold her some fish and some bricks or something. And she had on offer a white tiger. So had I got the money for it, I could have bought a white tiger and brought it back to put in my zoo. And I really like that idea. And it not only will it also boost your city, and it also really appeases your citizens because it's something for them to do. It's something nice for them to look at, but also it will bring in tourists, which will help your city prosper. So I think it's a really nice addition. It makes total sense in the context of the time and the era to add those things in. And it feels like it's adding to Anno without losing the initial theming of the whole thing, the feeling of the whole thing. And I really like the idea. I really do. I am going to be playing it. I am excited to see what it's like. I feel that this is a really nice addition to the franchise. I don't feel that it's lost its way or anything. I think that the additions that they've got, like the zoos and the expeditions, they work in the context of the time, and they don't take away from what was the original Anno. They add to it. They fit really well because those features were there. You know, trading was already there by ship. So why not add this extra addition of being able to make cultural things and buildings and stuff off the back of quests related to trading and so forth. So yeah, really, really excited for it. I'm going to be playing it. It's probably going to be streamed. I'm going to be playing it on stream. No idea yet if I'll edit it down for YouTube, because obviously it is one of those games that is best enjoyed with a cup of tea, just chilling, listening to the ocean waves and the music, and just being calm whilst, you know, your citizens run out of bread or whatever. So it will definitely be on Twitch. I don't know if it'll be on YouTube. Maybe I'll edit it down. Maybe I'll do one video and send you guys to the VODs area. I don't know. But the gist is this game is going to exist in February. And if you like city building games, try it out. If you want to try it out now, then I would recommend picking up Anno 1404, which should run on Windows 10 PCs. You can get it on Steam. I assume it's going to be on Uplay as well as a result. And that should give you a really good working basis of how to play Anno for when 1800 comes out. So I will pop all that in the description. I'll pop a link to the Anno website. I'll pop a link to Steam page. If I can find the Uplay page, I will. And yeah, stay tuned for more information. You can also check out my Gamescom playlist, which has Assassin's Creed on, and that's currently it, because I'm working through all the videos. I'm about to go off to Insomnia tomorrow, so I may not be able to get the videos out on For Honor, Trials and Transference before then, but if I don't, I will get them out as soon as possible so you guys can see them. They should be quite short. It's mainly summaries of new features, but it all looks really cool. It's a really nice lineup this year. So thank you again to the Anno devs. Thank you to everyone at the Ubisoft stand. As always, you're lovely. Shout out to the Anno Twitter team who are on it, and I'm loving your use of gifts. And I can't wait for February. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think of the game. Are you excited? And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.